Okay, hi. A very good morning to all of you. And thank you for joining us for our BAC preview or information session on our various programs. And where this morning, we want to take you through an introduction of what law studies is about. And that would be the main program that many of you have inquired about. We explain more to you about our school, who we are, at the same time, apart from law, we also do offer some other courses. And so we will also talk a bit about that. And so just to get a general sense of whether or not you guys can hear me or see me, right? If you can right now hear me, type in one in your chat function, right? So I know that you can hear me, right? If you guys can hear me, help me do me a favor and type in one into the chat box or the chat function. Great, great. Thank you so much for that. And if you can see my share screen moving, type in 2. Right? If you can see my share screen moving, type in 2. Great. Now that you have found the chat function, the box, keep that open because that will be where, if you have any questions, I would want to encourage you to type in your questions. Either myself or my colleagues who are online with me will love to hear from you and be able to respond to your questions, right? So keep that chat box function handy, right, to typing in your questions. And at appropriate times during or at the end of a session, we will address your questions. Now, of course, during the whole session itself, I would like, if possible, to be as interactive with you as possible. So it may be that you have like a burning question that you want to ask. Feel free to type in a question, and if I spot it in the chat function, I may then deal with it then itself. Otherwise, at the end of the session, we can do so. For any reason you are not comfortable to typing, you are better in expressing yourself, and you want to speak with us, just unmute yourself, and especially at the end of a session, I'll try to make sure we have some time for Q&A, and you can unmute and we can have a great conversation with you to ensure that you are able to receive all the required information for our programs. Otherwise, do kindly keep your microphones muted during our session, and that way we have a nice experience as I share more with you about our program and about our school, right? So once again, good morning to all of you. My name is David Chang, and I'm the Deputy Principal for BAC College Singapore. And today we have some items prepared, and these are things we have prepared in response to some of the queries that many of you have emailed us on Facebook, on social media, and wanting to find out more about these items, right? So you're not seeing your share screen, and basically now in your share screen, you'll be seeing the so-called contents of what we plan to cover for today. So we have quite a bit of things. I hope to finish before 5 p.m. this evening. No, just joking. This is the thing about doing an online preview. When you make a joke, of course, it's a corny joke, I know, right? But the thing is, I don't know whether there's anyone paying attention. There's an empty room right now before me in our school, in this classroom, and I can't hear anyone laughing with me. So kind of funny, right? But I suppose this is the new normal. And in fact, for BAC Singapore, for our school, we call ourselves the new hybrid campus. It's a new hybrid campus because whilst we are bringing to you and offering you an e-learning course, it's not really purely e-learning. Because if you're here in Singapore, the courses are also available for you to attend face-to-face classes for. And so it's like a blended learning of sorts, right? Where there'll be lectures that you come for, there'll be tutorials you come for, and some of these sessions are online via Zoom like this, and some would be face-to-face. And in case you're wondering, well, David, how is it like attending, e-learning course? Could there be problems with the video, with the signal? What do I see on the share screen? How's the sound like? Very good, right? And that's exactly what we would want to achieve this morning. You are hearing me. You are seeing me. You are seeing my share screen. And this is exactly what you'll be like, right? Really for you during the session. So in that regard, I want to assure you that the experience that you're having this morning, this so-called preview, it's literally a preview of what you would expect to also encounter similarly for yourselves when you enroll for the program. Is that you'll have lecturers like myself who will teach using, say, Zoom, using videos, and that's how we will engage with you, right? So let's now jump straight to what we're going to cover for today. And the first point is, why would we want to study law? Now, I understand that the majority of you, maybe even all of you right now online who are with me, you have inquired with us on the law program. This is because that is our so-called, I suppose, flagship program. We used to be a specialist law school. We still are in some sense, just that we are now globalizing, offering more programs. But by and large, by word of mouth, people refer us and students join us for our law programs. And so for this preview, I will be discussing or sharing more about our law programs, such as what you see here now, right? Why read for a law degree? But at the same time, we do have as well other programs, and I'll share that with you all shortly afterwards, okay? And if you were to have taken a glance at this slide, I'm not surprised that if you have been thinking about doing a law degree, and maybe your friends may ask you, hey, why are you doing a law degree? Your parents may ask you, are you sure you can do a law degree, right? And it might have caused you a moment to think, to question or reflect, why would you want to do a law degree? And I'm not surprised that for many of you, on your screen right now, there'll be one or more reasons that you are seeing right now as to why you are here this morning, of why eventually you may register with us in doing with us a law qualification. So common reasons would be, for example, where some of you wish to have a better career option, right? Such as, for example, to practice, to be involved in a legal arena because you like law, and you find that this law degree can open up with you certain career pathways, whether in legal practice or otherwise. And I'll share more afterwards on what are some of the possible career options, right? Of course, you find that there are many who would want to do a law degree, because it's a personal so-called desire that you have. Your dad or your grandfather, you come from a family of lawyers. Deep inside you now, you feel this so-called interest that you have from young in wanting to do law. And so now you're realizing your passion. You're realizing your dream, okay? And sure, why not? That's one good reason why you want to do a law degree. Of course, it goes without saying that there are many other reasons why you want to do a law degree. And so, for example, you're seeing this screen now, right? All these other reasons as to why a law degree, it could be a degree that students like or want to pursue. But this morning, I want to be practical with you and give you an idea of what exactly are these so-called career options, right, that one can pursue. We can talk about how a law degree is good, prestigious, respectable, useful, beneficial. We can say all those things, but we are Singaporeans, right? And we want Asians, right? We want to be practical at the end of the day. What is it that this degree can do for me? And if your qualifications will be, or your studies are funded by your parents, they want to also understand, right? Well, if I were to fund your studies, at the end, where will you end up, right? And so if you're a parent maybe, and you have a child that you may want to send to us for studies, I hope the next few slides will be helpful. And so for example now, in my next slide, we want to cover now what are some of the possible career options that one could pursue with a law degree. And the first slide here deals with a summary of those who want to use a law degree within handling legal services. So it's all related to law, either in terms of practice or even non-practice. However, I want to be very clear in this slide. If you are looking at the first two tabs or the first two paragraphs, whilst I do mention private practice, I would have mentioned very clearly now here, UK or Hong Kong or Malaysia, or for the matter now, most other Commonwealth countries, most. And you notice, of course, that Singapore is not indicated. And so I want to be very clear so as not to mislead you that at the moment, the law degree that we are offering, this external law degree, so to speak, whilst it is a recognized law degree from the UK, it's recognized for practice, obviously, in the UK, in Hong Kong, in Malaysia, in many other Commonwealth countries, but at the moment, it is not recognized for purposes of practice for Singapore. It used to be, but no longer. So that's just something I wish you to be aware of. But there are many individuals who pursue a law degree wanting to still use it for a legal purpose, but not in practice as a lawyer. So here you go now. Perhaps you want to use a law degree for the purposes of wanting to use it to work as an in-house counsel. In-house counsel, by the way, refers to those who are working within a private sector, for a bank, for a company, for an MNC, and they are the counsel or the corporate counsel. They're like the private lawyer, so to speak, for that company. And this is where you will handle contracts, mergers, acquisitions, employment contracts, vendor contracts, customer sales agreements. You're handling legal work, but just that you are not a lawyer as such, you are a corporate counsel. In fact, we have many students who have joined us, and they've now embarked to joining various prosecutorial positions. And by that, I refer to, for example, the AGC, the Attorney General Chamber's Office, where we have students who are now, or who were rather, DPPs, right? Deputy Public Prosecutors. And so that's where you are working in the Attorney General Chamber's Office, and you are prosecuting criminal offenses. And so a law degree would help you, would allow you to consider such kinds of career opportunities if there are such availabilities. But beyond that, it's not just the AGC, it's also most, or I suppose several other government agencies or ministries or statutory bodies for which they have an enforcement division. They have a legal arm, so to speak, and they need people with a law degree. For example, MOM, Ministry of Manpower, to prosecute those who go against the employment laws, those who go against workplace safety laws. So MOM officers would need to have a law degree to be able to, in some sense, be more knowledgeable or more equipped to prosecute these kinds of offenses. What about CPF, our Central Provident Fund, for companies who may flout the laws, who don't pay CPF? What about LTA, perhaps, right? Land transport. There are many traffic offenders, right? There was a tragic accident, I think, over the weekend or of past few days of a car speeding. And these are the kinds of offenses that could arise for which in Singapore we have various other government agencies with prosecution divisions that need people with legal background to be equipped to handling such matters. And so if you are thinking about a career within the legal services as such, then these are some options that you can consider, right? Now, of course, my main aim for this morning is also to share with you that a law degree is not just to become a lawyer. And so right now that you are seeing in this slide, that there are some other possible opportunities that could be available. And here's a snapshot of the various industries for which a law degree is very complementary. It goes very well together with, say, for example, in the areas of insurance, in banking, in shipping. Right? You are well aware that obviously that these are industries for which that if you have a law degree, it equips you with the relevant knowledge to be different and to have an advantage in that sector. These are sectors, and there are many more, I suppose, but these are sectors for which they tend to be highly regulated. There are regulations after regulations for which now the professionals in these sectors will have to comply with. But if you have a law degree, this is something that is literally what you are trained for to do, and that makes you very equipped for such kinds of careers in these industries, right? Now, I'm not suggesting that you do a law degree to have a total switch of career. Some of you right now watching, I'm not too sure of your background. Maybe at the end of a session, we can have a chit chat for us to understand your requirements or your background better. But it may be that currently you're working already in an existing sector. Great. Then your law degree can give you the value add for you to be a better professional in that sector. We are not referring to a change of career to be a lawyer, to join MOM or CPF board. No, if that's your choice, good, go for it. But really, I think that if you are currently a professional adult, you're an executive, you're a working adult, wherever you are right now, and whatever could be your prior experience or your prior qualification, a law degree is very complementary. It goes together very well with that existing prior background, experience, or qualifications that you may have had. And so I think that this dual kind of qualifications, this dual experience you have makes you stand out in a crowd where an engineer is just an engineer, where an accountant is just an accountant, a banker is just a banker. But you are different. You are different because in all these professions that you may be in, you also have a law degree. You know, I have so many stories to share with you about my ex-students who have done a law degree, and they did their law degree whilst they were already well qualified in the respective sectors that they come from. And they have no regrets. And they found a law degree opening doors for them within that sector itself. Right? And of course, for some others, they've gone on ahead now to even other sectors. Compliance, for example, as you can see here now in this slide somewhere, is something which is also very relevant and growing and emerging. You know, PDPA, you may have seen this now in February, 1st February, a new PDPA law, Personal Data Protection Act, right? The new law that came out in February this year. And you know, you need to have a data protection officer for every company. And there are some companies, I know, they have several data protection officers. They have to grapple with the data privacy laws. And that's something which, again, if you have a law degree, could equip you, right, to better handle these kinds of jobs. The next slide now is we want to show you a little bit more specific drilling down, right, to possible actual positions or jobs, as it were, that you could consider if you have a law degree, right? Now again, of course, this is by no means exhaustive nor comprehensive. It is just a snapshot of some possible jobs that you can take a look at now, you know, and sort of visualize it for yourself and see whether is there something there that catches your eye. Is this something that maybe you are already in currently? Enforcement, perhaps, a police officer, an investigator, right? So that may help you now think a bit of how the law degree could be beneficial in a particular area that you like, you embark on, or that you currently are already in, right? And so the tagline that we use all the time is this, that we say a law degree is not just to become a lawyer. And it's so very true. Many of our students who have joined us over the years, hundreds by the way, they did this law degree with us, knowing full well they can't practice. Now, a small handful aspire to practice, and I'll share more afterwards on what are the possible routes that you could take if you want to practice. That could be useful for you to learn. But by and large, the majority of our students, they do a law degree not to become a lawyer. In fact, you know, there's a very useful analogy which I share all the time, which I want to share with you as well, as to helping you see the value of a legal qualification. And it's this. Now, either yourself or your friends, it may be that you or them, they have done an accounting degree. ACCA, for example. Well, for that module, there's a compulsory F4 module, which is corporate and business law. You must do law, you know. If you study for a banking degree, you must study law. You study for an accounting degree, you must study law as a compulsory core paper. I know in certain universities where you study to be a doctor, ethics and medical law. You study to be an engineer as well. Law is also a module, if not compulsory and elective. What am I saying? I'm saying to you that in all those sectors, professions, or fields, they study law. You cannot be an accountant, engineer, architect if you do not appreciate the legal issues that would exist, that will arise within the sector. And so therefore, in all those courses of studies, they study law. What does that tell us? The law is very intertwined, law is very integral to all those sectors, to work, to what we see around us. It's not just in a very narrow mindset, oh, it's only if you are a lawyer, law is useful. That's so not true, right? And so with that, I hope that you look at a law degree or a legal qualification with a slightly different pair of eyes and to recognize that it's not just to become a lawyer. And so we have Professor Simon Askey, the Dean of Law, and he would have seen thousands and thousands of students graduating with a law degree, and he would be a well-positioned person to make this comment. He says that many of these law graduates move on to do other things beyond law, be it commerce, management, or business. Literally now, in any job, right, where you need to have these skill sets that a law degree trains you for, right? A problem-solving, logical, coherent approach to solving problems. And today, that is a skill set, to be articulate, to be able to solve problems, to be able to have a different paradigm shift, look at things in a different manner. And these are the qualities of what we train you for when you pursue a law degree, right? And so I'm going to assure you that right now, this morning, the time you have with us is precious, I know, and I want to thank you for being here online with us. I want to assure you that you are making a decision, your first step correctly, to find out more about these law qualifications here with us at BSc. Now, just to show you maybe again a bit more practical insight of some of the backgrounds of our former graduates, right? I can tell you about jobs, positions, careers, but let's put a name to a face, to a career, to an actual path undertaken by our past alumni. And so in this slide now, you see Glenn, you see Mona Chitra. They've graduated years and years ago, and they are doing very well, right? And they have used a law degree in a legal arena. Glenn is a personal friend, and he is a director of compliance. He is the data protection officer with a public limited company, right? Of course, Mona Chitra working with the International Criminal Court. Then we also have some who have used the law degree to be a corporate in-house counsel, which I mentioned just now. So here would be Jean and Derek. Now, we also attract a fair number of established professional adults. What I said just now, people who come from different backgrounds and they see a value in doing a law degree, and these are the slightly more mature students. And so you have, for instance, Chris, we have Punit. And if you look at their background or profile, you know that they don't need a law degree as such. Right? They are established in their careers. They would have had their postgraduate qualifications. Chris, in fact, he retired as a partner of PricewaterhouseCoopers, and he joined us, right, as a partner back then, years ago. I'm quite certain that the law degree for him is not to become a lawyer. In fact, he's not a lawyer currently, but yet he joined us to do a law degree because he saw what I shared with you just now. There is value in a law degree. It helps you with a career. It trains your minds to be a much more effective professional, a value add that you add not only for yourself in terms of personal growth, development, but for the companies you work for, okay? So that's these two gentlemen. And a final slide on this would be Yu Leong and Joshua, okay? And these are individuals also having used a law degree and not in practice, but doing other things, okay? Now, having shown you all this, it may be that there are some of you right now watching me, and to borrow a Singapore phrase, you die want to practice, but don't die for it now, okay? It's not worth it. But you really want to practice, right? And so allow me to take some moments to share with you some of the paths or pathways that you could consider taking. It's going to be a much longer route, but if you have a passion for it, why not? And I will share with you 3 or 4 paths that has been taken by our students. So in some sense, it is tried and tested of how taking these paths will lead you to practice in Singapore, okay? Obviously, if UK, no issue, because this law degree we're discussing or sharing shortly afterwards is recognized for practice in those countries, right? UK, Malaysia, and Hong Kong. By the way, I mentioned Malaysia and Hong Kong in particular because the BAC education group, we have presence in those countries. We operate in these countries, and that's why I mentioned those countries as well. And who knows, perhaps you're watching and you are from Hong Kong or Malaysia. Okay. By the way, if you are from Hong Kong or from Malaysia, maybe you can just, give me a wave, right, in the chat function, or say hi, right? So I know that you're watching from overseas, right, from Malaysia, anyone? Hong Kong, anyone? Or anyone from any other country, perhaps? I'm putting up the name list here. I see some names and they're all local sounding names, right? Anyone from other countries? No. Okay, fine, right? Okay, Faith, you are from Malaysia, right? Thank you for joining us. Faith, you are from Johor, from KL. Which part of Malaysia are you from? From Johor. Okay, great. I'm from Malaysia as well, by the way. I'm now Singaporean, but I came to Singapore about 20 over years ago. And so I've converted. I'm now Singaporean, but I'm a fellow Malaysian and from KL, right? So thank you for joining us, Faith. Okay, let's move on. I was telling you about how there are these careers, right? Let's look at that now. Now, here would be the first option if you want to practice. Now, again, I'm referring to those who want to practice in Singapore. So that applies to you as well, Faith. Actually, the UL law degree, for instance, you could use it for practice in Malaysia. So it's easygoing in a sense for you, right, as a Malaysian. But should you choose to want to practice in Singapore, then this will be what you want to consider, right? The first option is for you to be recognized under the exemption, right? You know that for law, there will always be the general rule, but for every general rule, there will be exceptions, right? And so this will be the exemption that our laws recognize in Singapore for purposes of being a lawyer, eventually for practice. And the path you're taking will look like this, right? Again, of course, this will be the earlier so-called foundational prerequisites, having your O levels perhaps, or your A levels, or even a poly qualification. However, we do have a foundation diploma in law that we conduct at BAC. And so if you were to do with us a foundation, which is a 6-month program, that will allow you now to move on to doing now your year 1, okay? Or your diploma in law, or your LB year 1, right? So in the event that you're watching this now, and you only have, for instance, your O levels, doesn't matter, join us for a 6-month foundation. And that's it. With that, you can move on now to doing with us the year 1, the law degree. And of course, the law degree is typically 3 years, right? Year 1, year 2, year 3, or the diploma, advanced diploma, and a final year. And with that, then, of course, what you could do is that, this red color link, which I'm going to show you now is this. If you have your O levels and you don't want to do your foundation, you don't see a need to be doing your A levels. And it's usually for those who are mature. So if you are a mature candidate, you are, say, 30 years old, or slightly younger or slightly older, and you have work experience, I can understand, that if you're at 30 years old, 40 years old, and you have your O levels, you've been working, you're established in your career, you're professional, you might not want to do your A levels or foundation. So in the regard now, we do allow you to join us as a mature candidate, right? So let me just be very clear now that you could, in some sense now, so-called skip the level and join us now for the Certificate of Higher Education, right? And then that will allow you now to move on to your next levels. Now, so what is the next level now? Here is where you would be able now to do the following, and it's to already come out to work, right? You have a degree, right? You can come out to work already. But you would want to make sure that this is not just any work, but that it is relevant, okay? Relevant work. Why relevant work? Because you want to use the relevant work experiences to then apply for exemption with the Minister of Law, right? And in his discretion, the law recognizes or have a scheme where at his discretion, he's able to exempt you and to recognize your law degree to be a qualifying law degree, right? So then you do the Singapore Bar Exam course, right? The Part A, Part B, you do a practical training, and that's it. You can now practice. Okay, that's one pathway. Now, the second pathway is to then practice as a foreign lawyer. Okay, so here is this key so-called path that you'll be taking. So you are not called to the Singapore Bar. You might not have done your Part A, Part B of the Singapore Bar Exam course, but you could have done the foreign bar exam of another jurisdiction that's recognized, and then you qualify to be a lawyer in Singapore, but as a foreign lawyer. And a pathway will look like this. The first part is the same, right? O levels all the way to, of course, your law degree. And then, of course, you could already come out to work if you want to. And a lot of times, people do this as well. They come out to work a few years, then later they go back to further studies. And it's where now they can now do the UK BPTC or the Australia GDL. These are the bar exam qualifications of these respective countries. I mentioned Australia and UK because these are the two common countries from where our lawyers come from. The more traditional countries recognized for practice, and those who come back now will then, with some work experience, sorry, let me just go back to this. With some work experience, 3 years, then you take your foreign practitioner's exam, and with that, you qualify for practice. Okay? So that's one option as well. And because you have been qualified or you have taken the relevant overseas recognized qualifications for practice, you can practice in those countries. But so you come to Singapore now, you take the relevant examinations, they will recognize you for practice as well as a foreign lawyer in Singapore. And so that's option 2. The third path or the third option is then to do a JD qualification. And this is quite a common one increasingly. We have quite a few of our students who have taken this route, and we have several who have also graduated. And it will be where you do the Doctorate in Jurisprudence program. JD, right, stands for Doctorate in Jurisprudence. It's a postgraduate law degree, and it's being offered at SUSS or SMU. And the program at SUSS started, I think, what, 5 years ago or thereabouts, or 6 years, and they've produced their first batch of graduates. And we are proud to have some of our students who have gone through the program successfully. So they join us to doing our diploma in law. They then did the law degree with us, the UL law degree. Then with that, they take the JD program, okay, at SUSS. And then, of course, they will now be doing their practical training, their Part A, Part B, and then they can end up now in practice. The reason why this is a possible path is because the JD qualification awarded by SUSS or SMU, that is the one that's recognized for practice, okay? So whilst the UL law degree itself is not, but the JD qualification is. And the JD qualification requires you to have a first degree, right? It's a postgraduate law degree. And so you would be using your law degree as your prerequisite, as your entry to doing the JD, okay? Which also means this, guys. If you are watching me and you already have a first degree, then technically speaking, you do not need to do a law degree with us. Because with a first degree And if you satisfy the other requirements from the universities, you can then straight away apply to do the JD program, right? So that's really an option that you can weigh in as well. The fourth and a final option, right? For those who want to practice, the fourth way would be then to get a properly recognized law degree, right? This is a direct route, right? This is the so-called direct route. Just get the recognized law degree. Now, so the pathway would be where, for instance, you would do with us now the following, okay? Maybe you could do with us now the foundation. You can now do with us after that now the CHE from UL, right? And then you apply, right, to doing a law degree with the recognized universities. This path that we have seen materializing successfully for our students, most of them are school leavers. And so they join us, right, for the CHE. So they could be a poly graduate, they could have done the A-levels, right? Or if not, join us now, do for foundation, they move on to do the CHE, which stands for Certificate of Higher Education. It's awarded by the University of London, right, UL. And that is recognized for entry into the UK universities for law. Now, in Singapore, of course, they recognize only certain number of, a list of UK universities that's in the list that's recognized for practice in Singapore. So make sure that you apply, you get into one of the recognized universities, right? And if you have completed now that law degree from that UK or Australia university, then you come back, you do your bar exam course, that's it, then you can practice as a lawyer. Now you will be called to the Singapore bar because you're doing the Singapore bar exam course. And you can take the Singapore bar exam course because you have done a recognized law degree. Okay? So with that, that sort of allows me to give you a very quick overview of the pathways available. And all of the 4 pathways I've shown you are actual pathways that we have students having gone through. I'm not just saying to you something in theory, there's a possibility, but who knows? No, it's something that's happened successfully for some of our graduates over all 4 of the pathways, right? Now, with that, I want to just move on now to share more about who we are. BAC Singapore, right? We are an EduTrust school, right? And so we've been around in Singapore for about 20 over years now. Previously, we were known as ITC, School of Laws, and you may have known us perhaps back then, previously. But about 2 years back, we were acquired by the BAC Education Group. And so now we are known as BAC College Singapore, right? And we have partnerships and affiliations with about 20 over foreign universities, many of them in UK. And these are our partner universities, where if you were to study with us for our foundation, our diploma, our advanced diploma, eventually it can lead you to a top-up final year degree with one of these UK universities. And it's not just law, right? Now, I know that I've spent some time on law, but this next part of what I'll share, part of it will be very general and broad and inclusive also of any other disciplines. So maybe you may have a friend, or you yourself, you want to do a diploma in business, and then with the eventual business degree from a UK university. Sure, right? We have the pathway for you, which I'm going to share with you shortly, okay? But here's a snapshot of some of our partner universities. And we are, in fact, as you may know, the largest provider of the University of London Law program in terms of the number of students. We operate in Malaysia, in Singapore, and in Hong Kong. And so as a single institution, we are the largest, right, in terms of the number of students, as well as the largest law faculty, right, in the whole world, right, by world standings. And we have won awards over the years, right? And for the fact that you are here, it could be that you've heard about us. Maybe Faith, right, from Malaysia, may know about BAC in Malaysia as well. And this is the final slide on the results of some of our top students, right, and what they've achieved. And you notice, of course, that the emphasis I have here is on the first class honors, right, in the first two, right? Now, why is it that for me it's important to talk about the first class honors? Because it may be that you want to practice in a respective country. And a lot of these countries, while they say, oh, great, you have a UL law degree, it's prestigious, it's recognized, welcome. But they may then say, but what is your classification of a degree? Is it a first class or a second class upper? Because they will want to look at that to determine your eligibility to be taking that bar exam course. Take Hong Kong, for example. In Hong Kong, they will tell you, well, the rule is so long as you have a second class lower, you qualify. Second lower, you will qualify to do the Hong Kong bar exam course. That's what they say, it's official, but I do not know of a single person who has that. Now, maybe they are, I'm sure they are perhaps, but the majority of my students, for them to be eligible, is because they have a second class upper. Those I knew who had a second class lower, when they applied, they were rejected. It is that competitive. And you notice, right? We are more and more competitive, and the legal profession, it's, in some sense, quite selective, and so would be the relevant professional qualifications. And so I want to urge you, if you are going to be studying with us, please don't just study with us. Work with us. Allow us to impart to you and to guide you through to achieving for yourself a first class degree, a second upper degree. It does open doors, obviously, right? For not just taking the bar exam course, but perhaps other opportunities. Postgraduate studies, your master's perhaps, right? And so that's what we offer you, a tradition of excellence. Okay. Now with that, I want to just now talk about the courses that we conduct, right? What are the courses? Starting with, obviously, our own programs, BAC. We have developed a range of programs, which I'll show you afterwards. And these are our proprietary diploma programs that will lead you to the UK university degree, which I mentioned just now. At the same time, we have this other strong partnership we have with UL, right? And so in a snapshot, you are seeing right now on your screen, the two possible pathways that you could take, right? What are two possible pathways? Either you can do it with us now, the BAc Diploma range of programs, or you can do with us now the Ul Undergraduate Laws programs. Let me show you how that works, right? Now, if you are doing now the Ul pathway, essentially this will be one of these programs, the Certificate of Higher Education, or the Bachelor of Laws program, or the GDCL. And these will be awarded to you by the University of London. So we are a recognized teaching institution. We conduct lectures, tutorials. We prepare students now to taking these exams from UL, and you get the award from UL, okay? So that's one pathway you could choose to do with us. And in case you're wondering, well, this University of London, are they any good, right? So here is just a quick snapshot of 2 slides in giving you a background of UL. It's not a strange name, right? It's world-renowned. It is of international repute and recognition. They have a lot of firsts, right, in history, right? First to offer distance learning, first to admit women, part of Russell Group. You may know, of course, perhaps of some of their famous alumni. Nelson Mandela, right, was in prison. He did the law degree, right? Studying for the law degree, was in prison, as well as many other famous, notable alumni members, right? So that's really a quick overview of who they are. And if you were to be studying with UL, to want to do law in one of their internal colleges, you'll be studying perhaps now at, say, King's College, at LSE, at Birkbeck. These are the 6 internal colleges or universities within the umbrella of UL. And among themselves, they group themselves, calling themselves the Law Consortium, okay? And where the law degree that we are offering you here in Singapore or in Malaysia, in Hong Kong, or e-learning global, right? UL is where the academic direction for the law degree program we are conducting is from these universities. So if you wish to be studying law in UK, you have to choose. Well, I want to get to UCL. I want to study at LSE, right? They have a law degree. But the program we are conducting here is an external program, right? You are doing a UL degree, but in Singapore. You're not going there, right? But at the end of the day, what I want to show you is this. You are getting a law degree from UL, right? Not from any specific individual college as such, but from the main university, right? So that's really how your law degree would be like. Now, with that, let's look at then maybe the other pathway, right? So I've talked about the UL pathway and the UL program. I just said a while back that our BAC college, we have our own range of programs, and this will be the partner universities that we work with, for which your program can articulate into. And so, for example, right, we have foundation, we have diplomas, we have advanced diplomas in these fields, right? Law, business, digital transformation, media communication, right? Entrepreneurship. So we have all this range of different pathways that perhaps some of you are here for as well, or you may have friends who are interested, right? And the way it works is that you can enter at any particular point. So for example, if you had finished your O-levels, then you join us with the foundation. If you already have your relevant poly qualification, or you have your A-levels, then you join us now for diploma, okay? It may be that you already have a diploma from a local Singapore poly. Then join us for the advanced diploma, okay? And all this leads you now to the final year top degree from the UK partner universities I mentioned just now. And what is attractive is that if you look at the duration, by the way, of our courses, right? 6 months, 8 months, 8 months, right? And of course, then the final year. The final year, 9 months, I put the asterisk here. As a lawyer, I want to just be very clear on this. We do not control that program, right? The first 3 levels, right? These 3, let me use, I suppose, a yellow, right? These 3 will be our own programs, right? The foundation, diploma, advanced diploma is our own program. I can tell you 6 months, 8 months, 8 months. But the last one is not our own program. It's a top degree from all these UK universities, right? So I can't really guarantee you, oh, it will be 9 months. Maybe they say to you 10 months or 13 months, right? It's their program, right? And that is what I want you to see. And so for that, I put an asterisk just to be very clear on that, that you'll be doing their degree. As to how you do a top up, in case you're wondering in your mind, well, David, must I go to UK or can I do it here in Singapore? Or can I do it in Malaysia, right? I'm sure you were thinking that just now. And so my answer is, it's your choice. You could choose to go and do your final year in these universities, or choose to do it here with us, either in Malaysia or in Singapore, right? So these are some options that you can embark on when you arrive at the level. In fact, it does not need to be the final year. It may be, for example, that you have done, say, the diploma, right? So you're now here. Let me use a red color, okay? So you're now here. The diploma is equivalent to year 1. So diploma in law is year 1 of the LLB. Diploma in business is year 1 of business. Diploma in media communication is year 1, right? It's year 1 equivalent. It's benchmarked to that. And with that, you want to now study with the overseas universities. You can. It's recognized, right? It's marked and benchmarked as year 1, right? So therefore, you could go then to UK to do your year 2 and year 3 and graduate. We call this your 1+2 program, right? Or 2+1 program. Or if you want a 3+0 program. 1+2 is 1 year local in Singapore with us, 2 years overseas. 2+1 is 2 years with us. It means you do now diploma And you also do advanced diploma, 2 years with us, 2 plus 1. Your plus 1 is with a UK university, or 3 plus 0. All 3 years you do here in Singapore with us, okay? And you will be awarded also that UK degree, right? So that's really how these programs are available and designed for you. It can be conducted here with us in Singapore, but we also offer an e-learning program. And so if you're in Malaysia or your friends in other parts of the world, anywhere in the whole world, you know, today with technology, education is no longer bound to just the locality you're in. And so we have designed our programs to be approved by the Singapore government to run it as an e-learning program. So if you have friends overseas, do let them know. They can enroll with us and do with us the whole suite of programs via online e-learning, okay? Now, but how would it look like? And so this part now, we just run through because some of you have emailed us asking for specific details of the subjects, the number of years for the law program, and all that. So this part will be a bit more specific, and I hope that this may answer some of your queries. So for example, the UL degree and how it looks like will be this. Broadly speaking, it's a 3-year program, and you do perhaps 4 subjects every year to complete 12 subjects to get a law degree. This is the standard entry, okay? Most students will go through this pathway. Now I say you do perhaps 4 subjects because there's flexibility in that maybe you may want to do lesser, and so you can. So for example, you see here now, you can choose from 1 to 4 subjects for the exams. So it could be you do 3 subjects over 4 years, right? So this could be an option available, 3, 3, 3, 3, still 12 subjects, and you get your degree, your law degree from UL, or any other combination. The flexibility I mentioned is also for the fact that there are 2 exam periods. So you may do 2 in May, 1 in October. You can do maybe now 3 in May, 2 in October, right? 5 subjects in 1 year. So that's really your flexibility. So long as at the end of the day, given the 2 exam points, May and or October, you complete a total of 12 subjects, right, within the span of your 6 years, right? And 6 years is quite comfortable to complete your 12 subjects. Literally, you're looking at 2 subjects a year, 1 May, 1 October, 6 years, you have done 12 subjects. Now, this is for the graduate entry, right? The titles of the subjects is what I'm showing you here now, but it's a bit premature to explain to you on what is EU law, right? What is commercial law? Those are details that you could contact us for if you wish, but when you do reach your 2nd, 3rd year, we'll explain more to you. But by and large, for the 1st year, all 4 here are compulsory, okay? Anyway, so in a sense, everybody will be starting off the same position doing these 4 subjects. Now, I call this a standard entry. What is then the other entry? The other entry mode is known as the graduate entry, right? So standard entry versus graduate entry, and very attractive. You can see now you only do 9 subjects. And it's, for example, now 3, 3, 3. Year 1, year 2, year 3, 3 subjects, 9, okay? And the reason why you're doing only 9 is because this scheme is only available to those with a recognized 1st degree. And so being a graduate, the university exempts you not from the 1st year, but exempts you from the need of having to do certain option papers. And so therefore you do lesser total. In total, you do 9. Look at year 1, right? You would see that these are also the same compulsory subjects that you saw just now, right? Contract, criminal, and your public law. Just now, you would have seen the same 3 subjects. What is different and why it's 9 is not because you were exempted from 1st year. No, you're exempted from some of the electives in your final years. But you start off doing the same year 1 subject, okay? But 9 years. And not sorry, 9 years, 9 subjects, okay, and 5 years. Same flexibility. You can choose to do it in the May exam sitting or October. You can choose from 1 to 4 subjects in the May exams. Right? For October, you can take maximum 2 subjects. And so you plan your studies yourself, and in 5 years' time, you do 9 subjects. That's it. You have graduated with a UL law degree. Now, both degrees are awarded by the university, and they are recognized for practice in UK. However, if you are a Malaysian and you plan to take this degree for practice in Malaysia, so Faith, perhaps it may apply to you, I'm not so sure. Be very careful, because the Malaysian bar exam, the Certificate in Legal Practice, the CLP, the qualifying board of CLP, they have a requirement. And they say that they only recognize law degrees that has 12 subjects. Which means, even though you may be eligible for the graduate entry scheme, it's a proper law degree, you can use that to practice in other countries. But for Malaysia, that won't work. Malaysia requires you to have taken your law degree that has 12 subjects. So then you should enroll for the standard entry. With what I've just said, will also mean this, that potentially speaking, every other country that you may plan to practice in may also have their own requirements. If Malaysia has this requirement, it may not be surprising as well that in each and every other country that you want to practice in, they may have their own particular requirements, which is true. For example, in UK, by the way, you must have done EU law. Do you see now EU law? I put QLD, and of course also QLD elsewhere. QLD stands for Qualifying Law Degree. Right? QLD stands for Qualifying Law Degree, which is qualifying law degree for the purposes of practice in the UK. Now, if you want to use this law degree to practice in Australia, they don't care about EU law for very obvious reasons, okay? In Malaysia even, they don't care also about EU law. CLP don't say EU law, you know, they don't. But for UK, they do. That's what I meant, right? That every country have their own particular requirements. But since you are doing a UK law degree, and if you wish to have your law degree for purpose of practice in UK, then you must do QLD subjects, which includes EU law, okay? If you ask me, well, David, what about Australia? What about Sri Lanka? What about Maldives? What about Mauritius? To be really honest, I wouldn't know because I am not able to advising you of every specific country, all their requirements. But I can tell you what you could do. You can Google. Today, you know, Google is amazing. In fact, right now, Google knows where you are, what I'm doing, right? And so you can ask Google and they'll tell you what are the requirements of the particular practice requirements so that you can work backwards, then choose your subjects accordingly, plan accordingly, right? So that part of research, you could email us. We can help you the best we can, but I think that you should do your own research. Find out, would this qualification work for you in this particular country of your choice, wherever you are now or where you plan to be in the future, right? So I need you to do a bit of fact-finding before you embark on any qualification with us. That's really why we are having this session, because I want to be transparent. I want to let you know exactly what is available for you to choose, Okay? Now with that, that's the UL pathway. Let's now look at the BAc pathways. So I said to you already that we have our own range of programs, right? So you have your diploma, advanced diploma, and of course our final year top-up. And it will look like this, roughly, okay? Where for the law program, it's again, right, 3 years. And your diploma and advanced diploma, it will be awarded by us, okay? But whilst it is awarded by us, we have mapped it against the recognition of the UK universities. And so you could then take the qualifications to do your final year top-up. And I mentioned about 20 over UK universities. Now, however, if you think that, well, I may want to study in Singapore, you can as well, okay? So that's a choice you make in your final year. At the moment, right, the three main partners you're working with will be these three universities. We are slowly rolling out more partners. And so this is roughly what you're looking at. And even the subjects, by the way, right, you can see how it's very similar, right? Criminal law, contract, public, tort, right, family, company. Those were pretty much the same subjects that you saw just now, right? What is the difference? The difference is that this is our own program, which allows you to enjoy this 1+2, 2+1, right? To going overseas in 1 year or 2 years. UL is all done here with us, right? Now, it may be that you are two-minded and you are not so sure between the BAC path or the UL path for the law program, And so I have this slide now that can give you maybe some clarity in that you could start off with doing the BAC diploma, which you know is year 1, am I correct? Of course, then you then do your year 2, then your final year. So that's the one I've been seeing. But if you're two-minded, then these are some of the options you can consider. So for example, you could do the diploma and then you switch over to UL. I'm proud to inform that our diploma is recognized officially by the University of London for entry onto their year 2, which means you can start with diploma, then if you want to switch over to do the UL program, year 2, and then of course you are now on the UL scheme, right? You have switched your horses midstream, you are now on the UL program, you do the year 3, and then you get a UL law degree. So your end, right? The end you're seeing here now is a bit different. Of course, right? This could be the final option you have. If you are very intent, oh, my father is from UL. I want to be like Nelson Mandela, he's from UL. And so if you are set in taking the UL pathway, then sure, from the beginning now, choose UL all the way. And so these are the 3 paths that you could consider. It's really up to you. I suppose a good path is this one, the second one, right? Why do I think that this is the best one? Because you start off with the diploma and you could either continue with the diploma all the way or you could switch. So your starting point is flexible, right? The starting point is flexible. So I think it's pretty flexible and attractive in that sense. Of course, the final thing I want to address right now is what are the differences, if any, between the BAc Diploma Pathway versus the UL Undergraduate Laws Pathway. And so one final slide on this. And this is really my way of trying to give you a snapshot, a bird's eye view of the features or the characteristics of both, and you decide for yourself which the one that fits you best. So for example, if you are starting off with a BAc pathway, these are the characteristics in that the entry requirements will be determined by us because it's our program, right? Now, obviously, we have a standard to maintain, but because this is an admission to us, and for students now who may not demonstrate the required qualifications, we will conduct our own entrance examination. We'll have an interview with you. We'll require you to submit us with other documents to see whether would you satisfy the requirements. It is within our control. If you apply the UL, we don't control that. UL decides, okay? Here in this regard, for entrance or admission, it's within our control. Not that we will close one eye or two eyes. No, we won't. But that is in our control. We are able to ask you for documents. We're able to administer an entrance admission exam to make sure that you come up to the required standard, okay? That's one characteristic. The other, of course, would be the fact it's faster, right? You saw the time frame, right? 8 months for diploma, 8 months for advanced diploma. It's shorter. with that being also cost savings. You will not be paying for any fee that goes to any university because you are a BAC student, right? Just pay as a fees, that's it. Whereas for UL, you have to pay to UL fees and you have to pay us fees. So there's the so-called double cost that could arise. Finally, and I think that this is the one that I want to put a star and a box even, which I think is the most important distinction between UL and the BAC pathway. In that for the BAC pathway, there is a combination of assessments, where the assessments are combined, inclusive of coursework, assignment, and a main examination. Right? So therefore, if you are the type that are fearful of exams, you prefer coursework, then sure, this is a very good course because there will be coursework, but of course, we can't excuse you from the exam either. There will be also exams. It's dual, right? And I think that it's safer in a sense where your eggs are not all in one basket. And the BAC pathway, of course, leads you now to the UK universities, which I mentioned. In particular, these three. However, for the UL pathway, right? The UL pathway is where your costs are slightly more because you have to pay to UL the fees, you have to pay also for exam fees. So there are extra costs incurred. This one, it's fully exam-based, okay? So in contrast now to what I said, the UL program is fully exam. And of course, then UL, having said that, in terms of ranking, it's quite highly ranked, right? You saw the names just now of their colleges, UCL, LSE, King's College. They are ranked top 10, right, in the UK ranking. So for that, it's quite attractive as well if you were to pursue the UL. Now, what am I saying here? Which is better? I'm not saying that. I am not saying which is better. I'm merely sharing with you the characteristics of both. You decide which is better for you. Now, there are some individuals who say that I would like to do a course that's fully exam-based. I don't want all this, coursework. I am a last-minute person when I study. So if you are that, then you do UL. But if, let's say now you are on a budget and you feel that you don't want to pay fees to BAC and then to UL, then sure, choose BAC, the pathway. And you only pay BAC for the first 2 years, and then only the final year, you only pay the university. Right? So in that sense now, there are pros and cons for whichever path that you're deciding. I'm hoping that this particular final slide would give you an idea of the factors that you would want to consider to choosing one way or the other. Okay? If you're still in doubt, feel free to email us. We are more than happy to respond to you. If you want us to give you a call, let us know. We are more than happy to give you a call to you. If you want to have a video call like this, let us know. We have a video call with you, okay? Wherever you are. Now, the final part of my information session for this morning is to share with you some of the features of our school, what we call now our hybrid campus, right? The new normal. Today, the world has changed. Education must change. We have changed, right? And so we want to share with you what we will be doing for your courses, whether law or business or any of the other programs that I mentioned just now. As part of a program, you'll be getting from us the following things, right? So for example, there will be your classes by our experienced faculty. And I must stress that our experienced faculty, they are all, or most of us, or rather, are full-time teachers. By the way, I teach on a law program myself. So if you join us for the law program, you'll see me for contract law. And I'm full-time. Now, why do I stress full-time? Because I think you would want to have a full-time person teaching you than someone part-time for the obvious reasons. In the past, by the way, for our law programs, years and years ago, we used to engage part-time teachers. Because why? These are famous lawyers, practicing lawyers. And we thought that because they are famous lawyers, they will do a good job. But we discovered that it was not really the case all the time. Because if they are a full-time famous lawyer, it means that this job, this teaching job, is part-time. The focus on you as a student is part-time. And we have found that some of these lawyers, because they are busy, because they have their main occupation that is important, right, in practice, that they are not able to devote full attention to you as the student. And so we found that that wasn't really working so well for us. Classes were canceled, some lecturers were late, not prepared for the class. They know the law very well, obviously, in terms of practice, but in terms of the latest developments, not so well, you know, because after all, this is an exam that you must take. So anyway, years ago, we made a strategic decision to ensure that all of us as academics are full-time teachers, to give you full-time attention. Right? So I am full-time, my colleagues, we are full-time, okay? Now, we do have part-time teachers, but those are the minority. So I think that's really one feature that I would like to share with you for you to be aware of. Of course, being full-time also means that we can do this, right? My time is not just to teach, also now to make sure that we give you materials that are developed, that are exam-oriented, that are student-friendly for you to use for exam purpose. All our classes are video recorded. To give you an idea of how your class will be like. If it's a face-to-face class, you'll be here right now in this classroom. But at the same time, this same class I'm conducting will be broadcasted via Zoom like the way you're watching now. But in case you happen to not be in class physically, you happen not to be able to Zoom in with us at the same time, the third is that it's also recorded for your later viewing anytime, for your repeated viewings anytime. And so the new normal for us is that our classes are delivered 3 ways. And I am not too certain of any or too many schools doing that. Maybe they are, I don't know, right? But I'm aware that as far as we are concerned, we deliver you our classes 3 ways. One of the few schools, I think, doing that. What are the three ways again? Face-to-face, Zoom, option, video recording, okay? And this is what we offer you. Now then, we also have a very vast database and library that will allow you access to online, okay? So even though you may be in Malaysia, perhaps, or wherever you are, in other countries, I recall that we have a student right now with us from Mauritius, I think. That's right, one from Mauritius. We have one from Mongolia, right? Mongolia, Mauritius, they don't have very good access to libraries maybe, but today we have online libraries. We also have our own LMS, that stands for Learning Management System, and that is where we upload our materials for you to view. There's also where we upload our lectures for you to watch the videos. So for example, right, it looks like this, where you have all this access to materials. You will see, for example, LexisNexis and Westlaw. These are databases that contains articles, that contains materials for which lawyers, for example, use for part of their preparation for a case. These resources is available to you free of charge. It's part of the course fees already, right? In particular, if you're on a business program, you will find that we offer you this particular attractive feature of Coursera. Coursera, as you know, is a famous portal or platform where they affiliate or partner with world-renowned universities like Harvard, like Yale, many other renowned universities, offering micro-credential courses. And so if you are enrolled with us for the business programs, the non-law programs, some of your modules will allow you access to the Coursera courses where you will be given also at the end that particular certificate, right, from that renowned university. So it's again part and parcel of your course fees, right? Very attractive. Of course, you may also recognize this logo or this access LinkedIn Learning. It's a premium learning site where you pay money for. Again, it's given to you free of charge, right? It's part of the course fees. So when I say that this is the new normal, that our hybrid campus, over the past 1 year of COVID-19, we have spent a lot of time and effort to reinvent ourselves, to make sure that we are very accessible, that we're able to provide you with value add for the course that you would want to enroll with us for, okay? And this LMS, this learning management system, is where we will upload our stuff online. And so you are seeing here a snapshot of the portal, right? So you have all your chapters, all the lessons, okay? Then you're able to watch some videos, okay? The video you're watching, okay? And of course, there can be some notes and all that, right, that we upload. So it's really a very complete access to materials. And obviously, you know, you will be here face to face, that's ideal. But as I said, you know, COVID-19, restrictions by governments, or you are in a different country, you may feel as if that, you know, you are not getting the full access to an education, but that is wrong, or that's not true. We are able to deliver you the full access, right? As you are now seeing in this share screen of the LMS. Now, some other things that we offer you is that because we're all full-time teachers, we can give you this SASE, which stands for Student Assistance Support System. And it's where you are encouraged to contact your lecturers or tutors so that we're able to provide you with one-to-one or in a group session study support. That's really what we provide you with this SASE. And at our school, we are quite well known for being exam-oriented. And so we conduct assessments regularly. These are part of our way to prepare you for the final assessments. We give you answer guides, we give you charts, we conduct revision calls, and we even have guest lectures from UK to join us to deliver parts of the program to you as well. Now, I want to stress this, that your course that you enroll for with us will be taught by us, local teachers, either from Singapore or from Malaysia, our parent company. But as value add, we have invited and got on board what we describe or call as the BAC Global Team of lecturers. And these are the UK lecturers that also co-teach along us and where you get the benefit of attending their classes. Some of them, by the way, are world-renowned academics. They are from Oxford, they write books that are published and all that. And these are authorities, right, in their respective fields. And we call this a BAC Global Team. And that is, again, part and parcel of the program they will offer you as well, right? This global law initiative. And these are actually academics who themselves are involved, in fact, in the UL law examinations. And that is what you'll get as well as part of the program. Okay, so I've shared quite a bit about what you'll be getting from us at BAC, but I thought that the picture paints 1,000 words. And so here is a snapshot of some activities of what we used to do. We used to do because, you know, now again, things are different. We may not be able to fully carry out every activity, but this gives you an idea of who we are, what we have done, and we want to move on with you. So for example, we have student parties, we have sports activities, we have conferences, we have social events. We even have this, our own gym, by the way, in KL. But whilst you're from Singapore, you're thinking, hey, but you know, I can't go to a gym in KL. You're right, you can't. But when I say new normal, I meant it, new normal. Some of their gym activities are online. And today, you know that can be done, right? You can take part in activities online. And so it's Monster Fit, okay? We have a gym where you can also join in. And all these are available as part of your student experience. If you're with us for the law program, in particular, I think this could be attractive, right? Our BAC moot competition, where we organize moot competitions every now and then, quite regularly, in fact. And a moot competition, in case you don't know, is a bit like this, where we have students being given cases to prepare for, to research, and to argue it like a lawyer, right? To learn advocacy skills. And so it's called a moot. And we do that, right, at our KL campus as well as in our Singapore campus. You may be thinking, well, David, I don't plan to practice, so that's not attractive. No, think again. Because I can tell you that in every profession and industry, there is an important need for professionals in those fields to be articulate, to be coherent, to be able to solve problems, to think on their feet, to research, to prepare, and to convince. These are all advocacy skills. So it's not just about being a lawyer, it's about being able to present yourself, being able to articulate an idea, being able to convince and win an argument. Aren't all these skills that are important for any job? And so that's again part of experience we present you as well here at BAC Singapore. Right, so with that, I hope you have a broad understanding of who we are. I want to come to a close to our session and take some questions, right? If you have any questions, feel free to type it in now or unmute yourself shortly afterwards. But basically, you can contact us for the fees if you don't have it already. Do take note that we have an ongoing early bird discount of $1,000 if you are paying lump sum, right? Do inquire further with our team for the fees. Otherwise, my final slide for this morning. Intakes are commencing, and for our Foundation Diploma programs, it's 22nd February, right? For Diploma in Law, CHE, for the LB, it's 5th April, right? So if you plan to take advantage of the 1,000 early bird discount, do inquire more and let us know how we could help you with your registration. Otherwise, I want to say a big thank you for spending your precious Saturday mornings with us. But I want to just stay on longer in case I can help any of you with any questions that you may have. Anyone? Feel free to unmute at this moment. If you have questions, I can hear you. Or perhaps you would be more comfortable to type in your question. I can see your questions as well. No? Okay, if you have no questions, again, I want to thank all of you for staying throughout the whole session. It may be that in the coming days or weeks that you have questions. Feel free to email us. Before we end, I want to make a quick announcement. And that is where we want to invite all of you who are interested in doing a law program with us to join us for our trial classes. We'll inform you of the date eventually, shortly. But these trial classes, it's free, of course, right? But these trial classes will be our way of trying to give you an idea of what studying law is about. And the reason why we do this is because we want to ensure that we're able to provide you with an idea of the law subjects as well as the law lecturers, who we are, how we teach. Far too often, I find that students do a law program for the wrong reasons because they watch too much television. And we would rather not have a student coming on board with a mismatched expectation. And so the trial class is where we will go through the substance of the first year's subjects: contract law, criminal law, public law, right? It's about half an hour, 20 minutes perhaps per subject, and it will be on a Saturday morning. We'll give you a date eventually. If you're interested, drop us an email as well, let us know. We'll get the date to you. And these are trial lectures that we hope will allow you to think through and then to decide whether or not you want to do with us the law degree. In other words, if right now you are unsure about enrolling with us, you are unsure about the law program, then just wait for the trial class. We would rather that you join us on a program because you have been given all the information to think through, to discuss with the family, and then to decide meaningfully to move ahead. for any reason that you're unsure, it's okay, come for the trial lectures. In fact, if you're unsure, we have later intakes in the year. Now, of course, by the later intake, then it may mean to say that it sort of defers your program, right? You may only graduate later. There may not be that $1,000 discount. But my point is that this is education, right? It's going to be a 1 year long, if not 3 year long affair. We would like you to be well informed. We would like you to have thought through carefully. And my job is to share with you, to explain with you, and to help you come to a decision. So therefore, my announcement is to come for the trial class for law, and then with that, you can decide. Maybe your parents or your friends may be interested. Do let them know as well, so that together you could join us online as well via Zoom, and then you can decide with your family whether this law degree is for you. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time. My name is David, and I really hope that I'll see you in class, or as I see you, on the video. In the meantime, stay safe and have a pleasant, good Saturday. Thank you, everyone.